Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday, August 23rd, made history by becoming the first ever Indian Prime Minister to visit Ukraine since it got independence from the Soviet Union in 1991. He met President Volodymyr Zelensky, hugged and shook hands. Now let's see what could be the intention of his visit. His Ukraine visit comes nearly 6 weeks after his high-profile trip to Russia, during which he held extensive talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin, largely with a focus on ending the conflict. PM Modi last met Mr Zelensky in June on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Italy. In the meeting, he conveyed to the Ukrainian President that India would continue to do everything within its means to support a peaceful solution to the Ukraine conflict, and that the way to peace is through dialogue and diplomacy. He also told Mr Zelensky that India believes in a human-centric approach to finding a solution to the conflict in Ukraine. In that meeting, the Ukrainian President invited the Prime Minister to Kyiv. On Thursday, he held talks with Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk in Poland and said that the ongoing conflicts in Ukraine and West Asia are a matter of deep concern, and that dialogue and diplomacy is the way forward to restore peace. This is India's firm belief that no problem can be solved on the battlefield. In any crisis, the loss of lives of innocent people has become the biggest challenge for the whole of humanity, he had said. PM Modi's visit to Ukraine comes at a time when the West has criticized India's close ties with Russia despite a shadow ban on Moscow for its invasion of Ukraine. Before he embarked on his two-nation visit, PM Modi, referring to the conflict in Ukraine, had said that as a friend and partner, India hopes for an early return of peace and stability in the region. And he looks forward to the opportunity to build upon earlier conversations with President Zelensky on strengthening bilateral cooperation and share perspectives on peaceful resolution of the ongoing conflict. According to the Ministry of External Affairs, the Prime Minister's engagements in Ukraine will touch a range of aspects of bilateral ties, including political, trade, economic, investments, education, cultural, people-to-people exchanges, humanitarian assistance, and more. PM Modi's visit to Ukraine comes nearly 6 weeks after his high-profile trip to Moscow, during which he held extensive talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin on ending the ongoing conflict. The visit and his bonhomie with Russian President Vladimir Putin was criticized by the West, which made an appeal to PM Modi to condemn Moscow's aggression in Ukraine. Ukraine wasn't too happy with the visit either. They criticized him for meeting President Vladimir Putin in Moscow on the same day a Russian strike hit a children's hospital in Kyiv, killing dozens. It is a huge disappointment and a devastating blow to peace efforts to see the leader of the world's largest democracy hug the world's bloodiest criminal in Moscow on such a day, Zelensky wrote in a message on social media that day. Skandharanjan Tayal, former Indian ambassador to Russia, thinks Modi will likely reassure Zelensky that India hasn't taken his previous criticism to heart. Modi is likely to convey the message that India is ready to walk the path of friendship and cooperation with the people of Ukraine. India has maintained a neutral stance on the Ukraine war despite having historically friendly ties with Russia. After the war broke out, India ensured it maintained friendly ties with both nations. This included continuing trade with Russia despite the Western sanctions on Moscow. The trade not only helped the Russian economy stay afloat, but was also beneficial for India as the country imported crude oil at a heavy discount. On the Ukrainian front, India extended its help by providing essential medicines and support. PM Modi's Ukraine visit on Friday is more about signaling that while India will continue to have strong relations with Russia, it will still work closely with the West. It is a fact that India also needs the West as China, India's Asian rival, and India's time-tested friend Russia have forged close ties in recent years. While India has long viewed Russia as a power that can put pressure on an assertive China when needed, it can't be taken for granted. PM Modi's visit to Ukraine comes days after Ukrainian forces staged a counter-offensive into Russia. Ukraine, however, will see Modi's visit as an opportunity to engage with a close ally of Moscow, something it hasn't done much since the war began. Meanwhile, many now speak about the possibility of PM Modi positioning himself as a peacemaker given India's close relations with both Moscow and the West.